Nice. All right. Maybe we'll actually edit this one. Maybe we won't. Maybe this will be the real start.
Yeah, well,
Luke, bring us in.
and welcome to another episode of Why Are We Here?
Who gives
No,
a-
sorry. That's my other part. Who gives a who? I'm Luke. That's Benjamin.
Hi.
And this, if you've ever seen ESPN Plus or ESPN2,
Yeah.
is Jay Mims.
Cleaned up, Jay Mims.
Cleaned up. No
Like,
beard.
Was that superstition based?
Yes.
Okay.
The first time was I wanted to see if I could grow it.
Yep,
And I was
absolutely.
like, you
That's
know
always
what?
how it starts.
I got a lot of compliments and everyone loved
did
it.
look
And,
great.
and I took it off. I'm like, you know what? Then I want to bring it back to the people.
Yeah.
And so I brought it back and I loved it. But yeah, we lost. So yeah, it's done.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
So-
this was definitely a vacation beard that turned into a COVID beard, and I was told by my wife, "Don't shave."
I started shaving again recently, just a little bit, like with a razor. And I walked out of the bathroom the other night and I was like, this is why I don't shave anymore. Like my entire neck is just like red and blotchy. Like, all right, yeah, that's why I grew up here. Don't even bother to use a razor.
No, I think it's one of the most like underrated things is going to that, getting that straight razor, going to a barber and just
Yes.
having that in the hot tub.
Yeah.
It's like, it only happens like, I'd probably do it once a year. And it's like, it should happen like once a week. And It's
Yeah.
just amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just, yeah. It's just, I
One of
think
the
it's
few
a-
ways life in the past was better.
Well,
Yeah.
I gotta ask.
Speaking of tangents.
Because who do you go to as a barber?
You know what? I used to do my own hair for the longest time.
Love it. I just started.
But
doing that
you're not
myself.
doing your own straight blade and saying that it's not
Oh
great.
gosh, no. I would go to wherever. You know what my favorite thing would be? Because I travel so much.
Mm.
I would do it on the road.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't
Ooh.
like doing like in Omaha. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like running into people. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? So I would travel a
Yeah.
lot, and I would just Google, you know what, a cool little local place, and like go
Nice.
and like, you know what, let's go, do something here, and that way, if I'm mad, I'm like, I'm never going there again. It's like, well, I really am
Yeah.
never going there.
Well, I
again.
like the Steve Nash.
Yeah.
I think it looks
Oh
good.
yeah, Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good soccer player.
I got the first. May I ask the first question? Let's get right into it. When was the last time you got a red card before Saturday?
Never. I have-
Never.
I
Is
have
it-
never.
Never.
Wait. First red card, and it was for Union Omaha.
Including
It was.
as a player and a coach.
No, but as a player, I've gotten sent off.
All right,
Oh,
okay.
Probably 4 or 5 times as a player.
Have you been carded as an assistant?
Thrown out as an assistant. I gotta think about that. When I was an assistant coach, I mean, I've been booked as far as in getting.
All right, good.
No,
good.
I've never had a red card as an assistant coach, and never had a red card as a head coach, and I've been doing this for 22 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was pretty close to my estimate the other
And
night.
I've coached a
Really.
lot of games. I mean, because I've done club almost my whole life. I've done college. I've done like everything, and I'm
I-
pretty.
We found out from Eddie Gordon that you were coaching club
Yeah.
from his welcome interview.
I
or
mean, Eddie.
some other piece he
I
did.
coached Eddie since he was 12 years old, and yeah, he'll tell you I've
You
never got a red
coached
card.
the last team from Nebraska to make the U.S. Open Cup as well, didn't you?
I have coached. I saw a stat somewhere. It said we're having the first ever Open Cup game against. We were playing Des Moines. It's like that's not true.
No, in Nebraska.
That's not true. I've coached and hosted a game, and it was one of the best games ever. We had a Croatian team from Illinois, Croatian-based
Oh, yeah.
Illinois team, come to Dodge Park, and I was a player coach, and we had our team out there, and the game was the longest soccer game in the history of probably Open Cup. I think, well, at least longest injury time. I think, and the first half stoppage time was 22 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
There was a red card, and then not a red card. Wait a minute, it was a penalty. It's not a penalty. It is a penalty. Oh, someone's gonna kill someone. Oh, like we're quitting the game. We're coming on the game. This referee can't ref. Oh, we got to bring another ref in. It was 22 minutes of
What
back
year
and
was
forth, back and
this?
forth. Oh God, you put me in the spot, probably around 2000. I'm gonna say 9.
All right, some parent out there
All
who
right.
have this.
Well,
No,
no,
these were like college guys and some high school guys. This is an Open Cup game.
Somebody
No,
videotaped.
the cup.us, I believe, had confirmed what the team had put out. So I'd like to see if they
Yeah.
can pull some footage of this, and
I mean, it was-
probably no footage because
I
it's
mean,
2009 and at
Yeah,
Dodge
somebody's
Park.
out there with a camcorder for sure.
I mean, there's another better story, not in Nebraska. So it might have been that same year. We've won a couple games. We had to go to Michigan and play a game. Drove to Michigan. It was a terrible drive, and it was a terrible experience. But another funny story: up 3-1 in the game, very late in the game, and we end up giving up 2 late goals, ironically enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, no one in the world knows what that's
that never
like.
happens to us. 3-3, and this is, we're a men's league team, and we're playing a bunch of young college guys, and so now we're like, oh man, it's over. Next thing you know, we're playing a man down because a guy had a concussion, probably in the first half, but it's like he literally couldn't see, and so he was out of the game. And then the next thing you know, a guy pulls his hamstring, and he's out, but he knows that, okay, we have no sub, we're out. So he's holding his hamstring, walking around. So it's 11-on-9. It's in extra time because it's a great rule that, we're a men's league team playing a bunch of college guys. Let's play 30 minutes no matter what. And so we give up a goal 4-3. We give up a goal 5-3. It's like, oh my God, this is going to end up 8-3. Amazingly enough, 11-on-9. We scored 2 goals at the very end of the game to tie it 5-5 and go to a penalty kick shootout. And not mentioning any names, but the goalkeeper that was there, one of the things he told us before the game is, hey guys, I'm not great, but I'll tell you what, my specialty is penalties. And so right when I go back to him to say, hey, this is it, it's your specialty, he looked like a ghost. And needless to say, we lost the shootout and we made a lot of our shots.
Can I ask if this?
That was an Open Cup game. That was my last Open Cup. Actually, that was not my last Open Cup game, but that was one of them.
Can I ask if that goalkeeper has ever been employed by Union Omaha?
That goalkeeper has never been employed by Union Omaha, but he's a great guy.
Brian, you're off the.
Yeah, but he's a great guy, and he's got some connections to Union Omaha. But
all right.
Yeah,
noted.
Yeah.
Oh man, so many good segues, but let's not take.
Red card we were talking about. Yeah, so that was my first ever red card, and I was very cool about it. I wasn't upset. I obviously.
You let the cop escort you off?
Oh yeah, he's a nice guy, super nice guy. I put my hand around him, but I was very calm in the moment because it was just leading up to it, and it was just it was bad. And I don't want to see things like you go against us that's not right. And if you don't know, it's not a goal. You can't just make things up and say it's a goal. And so I just basically let that. I let them know that, and then I didn't like the smirk and the smile that some of the guys working the game had on their face, and I thought it was unprofessional, and so I told them that, and that was it. It was just second yellow, and said no problem. I thought about the next game. I know where we're at. Okay, well. I haven't got one yet. Bobby's been a head coach before, no problem. I had, Richmond odds 2 flights. It's a connect. So there's a lot of stuff.
Are you just gonna stay home? Or are you gonna?
We haven't spoke about it yet. But no, when
there's the corner kick or tailgating at Richmond. I mean, you got 2 choices.
I mean, I love Richmond. It's a great town, and we've had some great food there and places. So yeah, we'll no. But on a serious note, I apologize to the guys, our team, and they're like, Coach, you're sticking up for us. But I think I always tell people I'm not you shouldn't get sent off if you don't have to. And I've done it for 22 years, so I'm not that guy. It's every 3 weeks it's getting something. So I thought we need to make a statement. I need to say, what, this isn't right when something gets taken away from you. And so I think I thought something was taken away from us that shouldn't have been, and I let the guys know about it, and it's my fault. But yeah, I'll have to sit out.
Now, one question I have that don't answer if you're going to get a fine is the biggest issue you saw there the consistency of the refereeing, where there was a potential for a goal earlier in the game of a similar level, but was not awarded to us, and then that same thing happened and
I think our guy, and that's the frustrating part, right? It not only the call at the end, but it happened in the first half. And it's well, you hope as a staff, you talk about that at halftime and say, oh man, that was close. And you hope the head person probably says, yeah, but you know what, if you don't know, you can't just make up stuff. And so, but obviously that conversation I don't think went on. So, but yeah, that makes it even more frustrating when it happened to you. And I wasn't calling for a goal then. If I knew it was a goal, then I would call for a goal.
This is not Rashid at Morrison sort of thing.
Remind me.
The ball bounced off and landed 3 feet inside the goal, and Rashid batted it out. And they eventually called it.
Oh, the Des Moines one.
Yeah. Well, and then Corey Herzog buried it.
Yeah.
But it was. I was in the stands, so it's the opposite field. I was like, it's not a goal. And I went back and watched it. You very clearly see that it was a goal, but not so on this one.
Yeah, no, it was, you can, we've seen video footage and goal line footage, and hopefully people have seen it that above me, and yeah, it's not a goal, so.
No, my biggest thing after 2020, I was just very anti-ref. Just the consistency in games. Like if you're going to call one game one way, or if you're going to call one half one way and then change the way you're calling the second half, like that's an issue that needs to be resolved at a level that's not with us, that hopefully we can find.
Yeah, and some of my issues are, and I take this, I mean, it's hard. I get it. It's hard to be a referee, and at any sport, it's hard. But I think that some of the bigger issues I have, besides the obvious, what had happened and it cost us the game, but the bigger issues I have, number one, like we need something. Then we need goal line technology, or have some kind of review system. Like we're a pro league. We're a pro league, and there's college teams that college conferences that do some of this stuff. Like, okay, we need to step up then and have something
and
like
goal
this.
line tech is just tech, right? Like it's not a
no.
I did see
tennis, right?
So we should have something like that if a moment comes to that, and that's one of my big challenges. And then the other challenges, we have these, you guys don't know, but there's new rules this year within the USL that head coaches have to meet with officials.
Were you in charge of rules?
Yeah.
That's true. I was in our 4-hour season preview pod. I was like, there are no rule changes, right, guys?
Well, it's a simple one, but it's like now that I always go out and meet the officials before the game and the coin toss and all that. Sometimes it's usually on other teams, it's a team administrator or an assistant coach, but I've always, as the head coach, gone out there. I like, seeing the referee. I like talking about stuff, like seeing what's going on, and I like it, and see the other team get the roster. I always am that guy, but apparently I'm in the minority of that. And so this year they made a rule. Well, 5 minutes before the actual roster exchange, the head coach has to come out. It's like, well, I already do. And so part of that is the process of, there's always like one point that, maybe an official makes of, this is the emphasis for today, or this is the emphasis. And so that was part of my frustration. There was an emphasis that he talked about, that this was what I'm going to emphasize. And then it happened with one of their players.
So it's like a purely hypothetical. He's going to be like, I'm going to make sure nobody's legs get taken out from underneath them.
Or
is it a control the midfield?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's more like the official will have a certain thing, like, hey, I'm going to look for bench behavior. I'm going to look for, late tackles from behind. I'm going to look for, illegal throw-ins. I'm going to look for, and there's something. And then what the point of emphasis was for that match was, a certain thing. And then it happened on, in the game. But I don't like when officials change the way they ref because someone's on a caution.
Yeah.
No,
So it changes sometimes when someone's on a caution, that it changes the way that maybe, a referee can, and I get it. I used to referee, 25 years ago. And I'm sure when I was in high school, and like, I get it when you're a human. And so when something happens, but I just don't, you're talking about your inconsistency. Like, I don't like when part of consistency and consistency, like don't change the way, because like, I'll give you another example. Like maybe you're up 3-0 in a game and the game's over and it's the 93rd minute, but a penalty is a penalty. If someone gets fouled, well, it's like, you know what? It's 3-0.
I thought you were about to make a Evan Conway in the final joke.
Oh,
but,
no, but I'm saying like, that's a bigger example of like, don't not call it because, well, we're in the 94th minute. It's 3-0. Like, no, if it's a penalty, then call it. Yeah. And so I just want a consistency from that standpoint of like, don't change the way you're thinking because of something happening. And I was mad in the first half about something that happened like that. And I got cautioned for it. And then, but that was my frustration. It grew and grew and grew. And then, at the end, but that's my first one. And
Jay, we're glad you took one for the team and you're going to engage with the fans on May 14th, regardless there or at home.
Absolutely.
Really, it's just
let's do some Instagram live.
It's a huge marketing.
Since Luke is traveling to the game, he's very excited that you might engage with fans there as well.
If you go to there, if not, make sure you go to the corner kick because that'll be fun. You get some tacos and margaritas.
So, did you know? It's the first time in club history we've dropped points after
was
after
78th minute.
Yeah, first
I
goal.
actually listened to a pod.
I could tell earlier. I did research on this. 50 games. That was our 50th game in the league, and the first time we were in a winning position and lost.
Amazing stat.
Like
And
it's crazy.
Another amazing one is I thought about it. I think we did, besides the game we had a home game versus Madison. We scored a late goal to make it 2-1.
Yeah, I recall
and we
that
almost made it 2-2. We could have, but if we didn't do that, I think of 50 games that we've played, I think every game we've scored in, we've never lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Because the only scored loss we've had have been the last two that we've lost, the Madison game and this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, we scored late. So this is the first one
No,
of
but
those as well.
if you take away that Madison game, going into that game, we had 50
The
games.
Madison game
and
that
it-
never should have
and it-
happened because you know we're
we already
always
won
going to
1-0.
other
We scored
data
twice
dump,
in that game.
Yeah.
data dump for this pod. We're 0-2 in rescheduled games. So I was looking through the
Well, let's not reschedule.
Oh,
games.
I forgot.
yeah.
No lights FC.
Yeah.
Now they overcompensate with lights.
Dummies. Yeah, and they do have that shit in Charlotte too. I saw it. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad Dami got ribbed to recover.
Do you have anything else from that game? What did you like? What were the positives? What did you take away from that game? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we should have scored like 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah.
We weren't great. I didn't think we were great. But I think they're good. I think they have some good players. I think they have some good technical ability. I think they're one of the more technical teams. It's an away match. And I think overall I thought we were just okay. But saying we were just okay, we hit the post or crossbar like 3 times, and we should have scored. We missed 2 breakaways, and looking back at it, you're like, yeah, we could have scored 5 goals in a game that we weren't necessarily. I don't think we were our best, and we weren't our best. And but at the end of the day, like, we could have scored 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a good thing. It's like we're looking like we're going to score goals. And like,
Yes,
that's
we've
what,
noticed.
like, 2 years ago when we had a new team, like, that's the hardest thing to do, is like to look like you're going to score goals. And I was afraid this year was going to be, similar to 2 years
I
ago.
think some of us thought that too.
Yeah. And which is rightfully so. It's like, we have a whole new team. We have all new players. We have a lot of rookies. And it's like, but at every game, knocking wood so far, it looks like, we may score.
I don't think so.
Knock on the
Yeah.
barrel.
Go now.
Yeah.
We got real water.
So, but I think talking about positives, it looks like we're going to score goals. These are all new players still, and it's like we are going to have, unfortunately, moments of pain like that, of what you just spoke about, of giving up a late lead like that. We're going to have that probably, unfortunately, happen again, but we'll probably have some moments this year too where we score those 2 goals late, and it's joy like
The
that.
biggest chance of the game from a metrics perspective was Hugo's chance, like
right after they scored.
10 seconds after. Yeah.
So that shows the character of the team, of like, wait a minute, you're on the away match, you just gave up 2 goals, like, that team should have it locked up, and literally 10 seconds there, we're going to dribble down and like have the best chance of the game.
Yeah.
Like, that shows with a brand new team, like, that's exciting for me. It's like, yes, it stinks. We like to make it 2-2 and it's in, but
those of us in the positive seeking business thought that was a real positive.
Yeah.
So before
Kevin was a positive. We got Kevin a game. So Rashid had 3 games in 7 days, 8 days.
Is the number? No, never mind. Is the number of games that Kevin plays in his contract? You can decline to answer this.
Is there no? Is there a number of games? No, but Rashid, the reason for that, Rashid had 3 games in like 7 or 8 days. We made that decision before that 3-game stretch. So it was like, Shido, get us through. Obviously
300 minutes in 7
Yeah.
all over that.
Yeah,
plus,
crazy.
like,
And so I wasn't going to sit him versus Chicago, because
I'm sure his elbow still hurt from what he did to those fans.
Jeez, yeah. But so I wasn't going to sit him there. And then obviously you have the home opener, which was
Yeah.
tricky. It's not a home game; it's a home opener.
No,
And so I
yeah.
did say, look, Shido, let's mentally, physical. Let's get through this. Let's get through this one. And sure enough, the shutout, we did it. Now this is Kevin's week, and Kevin's fantastic. We have 2 of the best goalies in the league.
No,
Kevin's awesome. That's why I feel gutted for him. He's great. And he made the huge save at the end of the first half. He caught like 3 or 4 crosses. We dealt with their crosses all night. It was fine. Like, that game should have been in there. 2-0, game over. Kevin comes in, shutout, another win. We've had 3 shutouts out of 4 games. Like, it was perfect. And it didn't go like that. So I feel bad for Kevin, but Kevin was a positive of, I know he's down, but it's like, Kevin was good.
Yeah.
Jack with the front office had us covered with that. That was the save of the match.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was really funny.
Which one?
But
Their second goal.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Jack's
that was great.
Yeah, Jack's amazing.
I do want to talk, because we talked a little bit about how our squad is essentially entirely new, and the first time we've had a chance to talk to you. But speaking of the entirely new Isaac Bawa, who
now
had been 31 games with championship last year, and this was his first minutes with us. What was a little bit of the delay there? Is it?
He wasn't eligible.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't get cleared. So we didn't have him cleared until a couple of days before this last game.
But I mean, that's definitely something that we want to be a little bit more proactive on, I guess, probably as a team. We don't want to end up with a Toby situation like we did in 2020, where a guy doesn't come in until the end of the season. Very happy with what Toby.
But yes, Isaac cleared. Yeah. He's cleared, but it took too long.
Yeah, and
he's good.
Honestly, with 31 games championship, and seems like the few minutes he did put in for us, is a very solid player.
Yeah, fans will get to see him.
Does he have a left foot?
More. Isaac can use both feet. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. One of our concerns, maybe, who is our backup left back? Question we wouldn't like you to answer now, but when we stop recording, you can tell us.
Yeah.
Because we'd really like to know, but we don't want to talk about it because we suppose it's also strategic.
But very excited to see him get his first minutes.
Yeah,
it seems like you have a trend of putting Ghanaians at the back line. They've done very well for us in the past. Rashid has done extremely well. Not to put anything away on Kevin, because Kevin, as you said, is one of the best goalkeepers in the league and should be starting anywhere in this league and could easily be a starter in championship at most of their teams. But those are two guys who stayed with us.
Oh, I have one, before we get to this.
Okay.
Actually, no, go ahead.
That's a good segue.
Yeah, that's too good. I'll come back to my question.
What about the guys who left?
Who made it? Dami doesn't count.
Okay.
Or any
players that left on freeze are who we're discussing.
Yeah. Who made the best move for them?
For themselves?
Yeah.
In what regard? Who
development of their
who thinks in the best position to succeed? Maybe an exceptional fit.
You can only look at, time will tell that, right? It's hard to speculate now because you just don't know. I think they
George answers.
Yeah.
No, it's truthful answers. You don't know. You can say, oh, this one is the best. It's you don't know until a year later. You're like, oh, that was a good move, or that wasn't a great move. And I think time will tell. I think there's, obviously I can tell you that some of those guys are doing really well.
Yeah.
I know we went out and played San Diego in preseason. I talked to Landon, and we talked before the game at length and talked after the game, and he absolutely loves, obviously, as I knew, Evan, and says Evan is killing it and doing well. He didn't get to play against us. He was playing for the reserves that day, but they only played 11 starters versus us, and they played 11 guys, but now Evan's scoring goals. He's starting for him. He's killing it. And Landon is super happy with him. So I know he's doing a great job. And
it's not like they don't have attacking players on that squad too.
And obviously, I'm sure Landon has a decent eye for guys that can run and make good runs and score goals. So yeah. And then Greg, I know I talked to the Phoenix coach probably every couple of weeks, and Rick says he loves him and absolutely loves Greg. And
I've been watching a lot of his games. Anybody's playing on the West Coast. It's great because Saturday night at 9 o'clock when I'm getting ready to go to bed, I can put on all their games and watch them. And they were playing someone and just getting their ass handed to them, and Greg was just working the whole time, running hard. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So no, that was I talked to those guys, but I think everyone that's gone somewhere is it's just a different. I try to watch them, but obviously we have our own tapes to watch and games to watch. But I'll get an occasional text or call or something, or hey, did you see this? Or a coach calling me saying this is great, and I think I think that's great for our team, because now people are going to be looking at our team now and saying, hey, these guys are doing well, because now people are realizing, these guys weren't just good players for us. These guys are the best players in USL.
Well,
absolutely. No, it's
one loaded question before I ask you a real question.
If Evan and Greg lead the league in scoring this year for championship, and they finish in the top 1 and 2 or in the top 5, like that's not going to surprise me. I guess my point is, and of where they, and where they go and where they play, like, because those guys are that good.
My loaded question for you.
Okay.
Rangers or Frankfurt?
I didn't even get to see the final day. I saw Rangers score a goal. It was unbelievable. 1-0, like 7 minutes in. What was the final score?
Oh, what was that? 3-1?
They won?
I think it was 3-1.
One of the best home environments out there in the world. It was awesome.
But Rangers or Frankfurt? Because this directly applies to one of our former players.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
All right.
That's a good coaching answer. How do you feel about Jacob Krall scoring goals all of a sudden?
I saw that.
Yeah, he scored. Yeah,
He's got 2 goals, right?
yeah.
Yeah, happy for him. Anytime a defender can score, I think that's happy. But I think Jake will probably tell you, I hope any defender should tell you that. I don't care about goals. You want shutouts and wins.
Yeah.
And they need more of those.
He and his brother scored on the same day in the Open Cup.
Isn't that cool?
That was
Yeah,
good.
I messaged him about it. I was like, when was the last time it happened? He said, never. So I was like, wow. Okay.
Hey, Open Cup brings out miracles.
Yeah, exactly.
John Murphy, wearing the armband. Like, always seemed like a very charismatic guy, but goes from playing essentially off the bench for a League One side. And granted, it's an MLS 2 that has a storied past, but he's not wearing captain's armband for a championship side. Like, how are you picking those guys out?
John's got 2 really, really good attributes that I really enjoyed. He's super, super competitive and he works really, really hard. But John was just in a team that had a talented midfielder, and John's 20 years old and young. And I think it's just it was, our midfield was loaded and
that is the accurate word.
No, and Nick Firmino too. Nick's playing like every minute for Atlanta too. Like
he's their star player.
Those guys are. But that's the cool thing about soccer, though, right? It's very subjective. Our jobs are very objective. Of we get, we won or we lost, and it's very different in the corporate world. But at the same time, it's very subjective. Of it's what I like is different than what you like and what Ben likes, and it's just everyone can pick.
We all know to disregard what I like.
Everyone, that's the cool part. Like, everyone sees it's art. Everyone sees, like, I can look at one player and say, you know what, I think he's good at this, this, and this, and this, and I think he needs to work on this. And this coach can look at this player and say, I think he's good at this, this, and this, and needs to work on this. And it could be completely different. And we're talking about high level players, could be high level coaches. And it's very subjective. And that was a tough thing for me last year and it's going to be this year because the COVID started with it. Now it's some budget stuff and roster stuff, but it's like, we don't have reserve games. And like, it'd be so much better if we were to, play a game on a Saturday night and then take a guy like you mentioned, John Murphy, and we play 11 guys the next day versus a decent team, a Creighton, a UNO, a PDL team, a USL2 team, and you play, and then you play the game. Let's say, we win 3-1 and so-and-so had 2 goals and an assist. And it's like, okay, like that's some objective information that you play forward. You scored 2 goals, you had an assist. You know what? You're confident in train next week. Now we can get you some time next week, but we don't have reserve games. It's like, it's training and it's just hard. And so I think that's why it becomes very subjective. And so
you'd like us to come play against you guys on a Sunday?
Maybe
not the level of competition you're looking for.
I think it would be
both needs.
I think it goes back to subjective.
Jay, you're killing me.
I've seen highlights. I've seen highlights in Bellevue with the game. I think Gary was in goal. I saw highlights.
Speaking of reserve leagues, what has the impact been on our league, USL League One, of MLS Next?
Huge.
Have you felt it?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think people were. It's whatever. I don't know what the number is. If it's 21, is it 22? I don't know how many teams it is this year, but let's call it 21 times 20. We're at 420. Call it. There's 20 something players on each one of those teams. So you're calling it over 400 players.
Yeah.
Can I ask an immediate follow up here? Whether it's bigger in the coaching staff, the players, or the reffing?
What do you ask?
Like the impact,
Being what?
whether it's the impact is bigger in
Impact.
the players, the coaching, or the reffing.
I never thought about that. I mean, from the the coach's perspective, I was saying that, there's 400 new spots that are, going to players. And granted, some of those are spots that are first team guys. Some of that are spots of some academy guys that are already there. But even take half of that, 200 players, if you take half of it, are now going to different teams. And so it's just more recruiting and more scouting and more, trying to, do your homework. And it's just, it's more teams. But I think there is the smarter players. There is a difference, obviously, of playing for an MLS reserve team and playing for a USL team that gets a lot of great fans like yourself. There's a huge difference in
Does
that.
a guy like Joe Brito, for instance, having been at an academy before, does he get that difference better than I was stunned watching Hackworth's team, the AC St. Louis, how many guys from Missouri State and places that you'd be like, this seems like prime recruiting territory for us, but they're there playing.
Yeah, I think, time will tell too, right? The level, no one knows the level right now. They're only 4 games in, 5 games in. So the level,
I've watched none of them.
Yeah, you just, they're playing on Sundays and it's just Sunday morning. But I think for instance, Greg, I'll go back to Greg Hurst. Greg's an example. I had 3 MLS reserve teams call me about Greg, and Greg didn't want to go there. Greg's young, he's 23 years old, but Greg, coming from his background, is no, Jay, I don't want to go and play in front of 50 fans, 100 fans, and I don't want to know, I'm international. And it's they're just, he kind of is thinking ahead, it's a long shot for me to make the first team. If the goal for me is to make the first team, it's an absolute long shot. And I've done this before. I've been on reserve teams before. And so, a guy like him that's had that experience knows that, but someone maybe that hasn't had that experience and sees the gold carrot of, oh man, this is my chance. Who am I? And I'm not someone to tell them that, oh, you don't have a chance of making that first team. There's always a chance.
Yeah.
And so, but I think there is a big difference of, you're probably not going to play in front of fans. You're probably going to have some guys on your team that are kids. You're not probably playing away matches and fan. It's not just your team, it's the whole league.
Right.
And
It's
so
not
it's
it's not like you're a poorly attended market, right?
But I will tell you, I do miss Miami's Fort Lauderdale's field's amazing. It's immaculate. And so the MLS setups on some of this stuff.
You miss playing in empty Gillette?
I do, because the locker room was, nice, and the hotel is nice, and the restaurant. Not that any independent teams don't have nice stuff.
You just want the lobster.
Lobster's nice, but you do miss the facilities that MLS teams have. But I didn't say, you said Gillette. Miami was beautiful. It's the best grass surface. Fort Lauderdale is the best grass surface that there is, and I think even MLS teams will tell you that playing down in Miami, that the actual surface, is probably one of the best in MLS. And we lose that, and it stinks. But Dallas was turf and it was okay. Gillette was turf and it was okay. Toronto, we obviously didn't go there. Orlando, we never got to go there, but Miami we do miss.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we went to.
Luke really wants to know about the reffing now.
I do.
Oh, so
because your long-term theory has been that the pool is not big enough already.
So
and
they're
adding
now they're taking away
10 more games.
There are 3 third-tier leagues.
Yeah.
And one of them is significantly more competitive than the other 2.
NISA, right? Because everybody's not very good.
I'm not doing that because we have Buas away there.
That's true.
For sure. There's not only so many officials, just like there's only so many soccer players, and eventually, you're gonna have referees that are doing their first ever games in our league or their league, and it's and maybe they're not ready, but because of the amount of teams now, they're
that's definitely a goal, even though I didn't see it.
Yeah. Sure, but it's hard. It's for sure it's gotta be hard on officiating, and because there's more teams now, and then coaches. It's hard for our job because, like I said, from the scouting and recruiting and some of the resources they have, it's just it's definitely made a difference. But I know you saw it kind of in the offseason, but I think time will tell with that league of what they're going to do, because there's one independent team right in the league. I haven't seen
technically.
Oh, because it's St. Louis.
St. Louis.
RIP
St. Louis 2 is the independent
Yeah.
team, and they have a 2 there, even though there's not a.
Yeah,
first.
so I
So
don't,
there's no one.
so I don't know. I think time will tell. Like next year, are there gonna be 10 independent teams, and all of a sudden now they will have like fans? 'Cause I think that if you ask those MLS people that coach in those teams or are working with those clubs, I think they'll tell you that, yeah, they miss that's why there's teams that are still playing in the USL and MLS. They miss that. They want to play against man. They want to play against in environments that you have 5,000 people at their games. They want to play in front of fans like you. They want to get taunted. They want to have like,
Yeah, no,
they
noticed that.
want to win a game like that. And like you, sometimes you maybe don't get that if you're playing on a Sunday at 10 a.m. and it's like,
Yeah,
you don't get
sporting
that,
goods
but
part.
they have their benefits too. But I think that's why I think they're trying to maybe get some independent teams, but I don't know their business plan. I don't know what their model is. I know they've scrambled to put this together, and I'm sure like anything else, they're having their their challenges, but I mean, they got it off and running, credit to them, and they're doing it now. And I just love the fact that there are more opportunities for referees. There are more opportunities for players. There are more opportunities for coaches, because that's my profession. And it's like, man, you want to grow your profession. It's like, we just created, jobs for
120 more coaches. No, I think
Yeah.
for the coaches, I think coaching development in the United States, huge. Player development, a little bit less, refs maybe. But, one of the things that I'm going to segue here. So, our league has seemed more competitive, or what's the word? A little bit more parity in the league this year, maybe. Or alternative hypothesis, Tormenta is actually really good this year. What are your thoughts?
Well, I like it. Well, I think our league had, I thought, a ton of parity last year. And I think it had a ton of parity 2 years ago. I think our league's always going to have parity because
There was a lot of COVID in Tormenta last year.
the difference is very, very close. But I think to judge anybody right now after 4 games or 5 games to say, look at what they're doing, I think I think you need more body of work.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think you need 4 or 5 more games to kind of really see where you're at. Because I mean, you look at us, like you said, we've probably had, counting our preseason games, 14 or 15 matches, and we've had like 1 home game.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you just don't know the physical.
It's going to be 1 out of the first 8.
Yeah. You don't know the physical and mental toll that takes. It's like, that's something that you don't see on paper or see in the standings. And so I think it's hard to look at the first 4 or 5, but yeah, for sure that they've got off to a better start, and they've changed some things. And, but that's what you have to do as a team. Like, you hope that we win the league last year and we kill it, that people need to look at like, well, man, what are they doing? And how do we get better? How do we beat them? And so you hope.
So that's why their defense is much better.
Well,
because we had really good defense.
I mean, they haven't had a goal in a while, but
yeah, I mean, they picked up a great defensive midfielder.
Yeah, they did. That's true.
Hasn't played a game.
Good with his head, good with his foot, great from the set piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think going back to that game, I think a lot of us were discouraged after that match, in part because Tormenta's finished 9th the 2 years that we've been in the league, but now they've given up 1 goal in 5 games, and they've had good results, and maybe our 0-0 draw there wasn't as bad as it seemed the night of.
Yeah, exactly. I think you can't put anything into it until you actually start looking. I think usually 9-10 games in, I think you can start making some judgments and saying, okay, this is where this team's at now, and man, they need to do this, this, and this to get better, or man, they're flying right now. If they can keep this going, they'll be all right. But I think 4 or 5 games in, it's hard. But I think because 9 or 10, it starts to even out a little bit of home and away matches, and injuries start to happen and not happen, and travel and weather. And I think you get a better sense of that. But I think so far, I think you're going to see, you can't compare to last year and look at, a certain team finished, here and here. And then I think every year is a new team. Every year is a new, we're just like us. Doesn't mean that we can't win the league and we can't, score 9 goals in the semifinals and finals and win a trophy. But every year is a different year for teams. And but I think the good news is our identity won't change. We'll have different players and personnel, but you'll still see the same stuff from us. Of guys are going to be working hard for the team, for the city. Guys are going to be pressing hard. Guys are going to be trying to win their individual battles. Guys are going to be fully committed. Guys are going to be exciting to watch. We're going to be 100 miles per hour. We're going to be on the front foot. So I think it's just players change. I think some other where we can keep that style and identity, where I think other teams that have finished at the bottom, they have to look at themselves in the mirror and say, well, you know what, we may have an identity, but it's not working.
Yeah.
And so we got to change our identity or change what we're doing. It's not just maybe the players anymore. It's like, man, okay, year 1, year 2, year 3,
that's
like,
fair.
okay, like maybe we need to do something else.
Yeah.
And so
Make
for
a lot
us,
of, it's great, but
Yeah.
you know.
Well, Tormenta for me kind of sums up like just the issues with COVID and everything. 2020, they were competitive. Like we drew them off some bangers,
Yeah.
absolute bangers.
Yeah.
Like
are we really wasting a couple minutes of talking about
No,
Tormenta,
no.
Georgia,
I-
Statesboro, Georgia? If we're gonna do that, we're gonna talk about the Hampton Inn in Statesboro, Georgia. We're gonna talk about the Walmart that everyone in the whole city's at. And
They're
it's
getting
like,
a Publix.
I think, like,
They're getting a Publix, but
Yeah.
also they're getting a soccer specific stadium.
we
It's
saw it. We drove by it.
50,000.
I thought we were supposed to be playing in it this year, and then everyone
Yeah, I
says
thought so
it's
too.
gonna be June, and it's probably not gonna
No,
be
well,
June.
you-
Like,
No,
You
they
guys
just
beat
pushed
them.
it back to July.
Yeah, you guys beat them so badly that they had to have a. They
I
couldn't.
mean,
close
I was
down that
at the
stadium.
last ever
No.
game.
No.
At last year, I was at the last ever game, pouring down rain, and we won. I mean, I heard it announced 5 times.
Yeah.
Last ever game, and yet we come back here this year and we played there. So
Don't
why
worry.
are we talking about this?
I will
We
say
brought it up
this:
before.
they got lights before they got turf.
Hey.
They learned from Chattanooga.
That's pretty good.
However, it's very interesting. Like the smallest market in the league is bringing in quality talent. They're poaching talent from us, arguably poaching talent from us. We'll see if he actually makes it there. They're bringing a competitive edge that hopefully COVID is done. They don't have to sit players for half the season because South Georgia doesn't believe in masks, whatever, but not getting into that.
Yeah. Reminder, we remember.
Yes, we very much do. We're at a point in this market where the metro is almost 1 million people, just shy of in the last census. Still, somehow
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We're not investing as much into that. We're not investing as much into the fan experience as these teams in smaller markets. Chattanooga, for example, launched a beautiful soccer specific stadium. Apparently, if you hit the ground there, the concrete is a little bit too close to the turf and it hurts a lot. I've not witnessed that personally, but just lights.
Yeah.
They got lights.
Yeah,
finally.
yeah. 0-2. And
Greenville has
Rescheduled games.
announced to the public, the team has announced to the public they're moving ahead on that. Obviously, Tormenta has done that. They're building a Publix and a soccer stadium is going to be attached to it.
Charlotte, beautiful downtown stadium.
Yeah, like all of this, and that seems to be huge in what you were saying of like soccer growing in the country. And I believe there was some, I can't remember if it was Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but over $4 billion dropped on soccer stadiums in the past 5 years in the country.
Crazy.
Do you think that's actually going to benefit Omaha?
Toughest question of the night.
Like,
I think is it gonna benefit Omaha? All these soccer stadiums being built across the US?
well,
Is that what you're asking?
whether Omaha is going to get a soccer stadium and whether a stadium would benefit
Another
Omaha.
one.
Oh.
We got a couple.
Yeah, no, we do have two
Um,
beautiful soccer
Yeah,
specific stadiums.
you know,
in great
it
locations.
can. I think absolutely it can, but I think you have to invest, and you have to. It's like people think that, oh well, we're a soccer team, and it's your soccer is a diverse sport, and it's young professionals who watch soccer. And so young professionals like drinking beer and going to soccer games and wearing scarves and supporting their own team. And you like winning games and winning matches and I like being outside, but like that can't be a business plan. So
it's not.
And you do have to have a little bit of
hope is not a strategy.
You have to have a little bit of luck for sure. Like Cincinnati will tell you that. I know some of the Cincinnati owners of the MLS team, and when they were, getting 30, 40,000 at some of their USL games. So I think you have to have some luck. You have to have, sometimes hit lightning in a bottle and do some things, the right way. But I also think there needs to be, obviously a major plan, and there needs to be investing. Like it doesn't, like Cincinnati doesn't just walk into that. Yes, they had some luck, and it's a diverse city, and it's a cool place, and it's a good sports town. But I mean, they went into that knowing that we want to go MLS, and so if there's, 5 ticket sales guys at a normal USL team, and there's 2 social media people, and there's a director of sales, and 4 people are working underneath him. Okay, well, we're going to quadruple all of that, and we're going to pay people, and we're going to invest, and we're going to put money into this for a couple of years, because here's our goal 3 years from now, 4 years from now, and we got to do it, and we got to do it the right way. And then boom. So I think, will a soccer stadium help Omaha? Absolutely. Is there room for one? Absolutely. Can we get, someone asked me this question, a consultant asked me a question of, well, what size should this new stadium be if Union Omaha gets a new stadium? Should it be, 6,000? Should it be 14,000? Should it be 8,000, 12,000? So that's a trick question, loaded question. What do you mean? Like, how much are we willing to invest? Like, how much are we willing to, how many ticket people are we going to have? How many marketing people are we going to have? How many social media people are we going to have? How many sales people are we going to have? What are we going to invest in all that? And then if you tell me what our investment is and all of that stuff and what we're doing, then I can tell you, well, this is probably what the size of your stadium should be.
Yeah.
And so I think that has to come first. And then, but I think, can we get something here? Yeah, we need something here like that in Omaha. There are young professionals here. I'm sick of young professionals moving to Minneapolis and Denver, and I'm going to go here. It's like, no, like now the young professionals are smarter enough and realizing like those cities are way expensive, and like Omaha is actually cheap. Like, and people want to go.
One of your players even bought a house.
Yeah, people want a studio apartment. Young professionals want a studio. They want to live by themselves. They want to live in a condo downtown or midtown, but they don't want to pay $1,400. They want to pay $1,000 a month. People want to pay $5 for a beer, not $14 for a beer.
Yeah.
Like they're that. Can they afford a Creighton basketball season ticket? Yes. Like these young professionals are smart. Money's okay.
It's unbelievably cheap.
They're making good money. Can they afford? But it's like, I don't know if they want to pay maybe a season ticket over for Creighton basketball, because maybe it is a little higher. So there are young professionals here in Omaha that make good money, that can support themselves and can support a season ticket. But it's like everything's got to be right. But yeah, we need it. We absolutely need a stadium. We need to have it for young professionals. We got to, but companies got to help us. The big corporate companies, we have so many nice, huge, big supportive companies. Everyone always talks about Omaha as a supportive town. It is like it's a supportive town. It's a whatever you have, people will go and support it. And that's why the swim trials work. That's why the College World Series works. That's why the wrestling championships, the volleyball. It's amazing. And so if you do it the right curling, if you do it the right way, people support it. But you got to do it the right way. But the major companies need to come, and they need to get on board, and they need to invest, and they need to get there, and they need to see the value in what we do, because we are unique. I mean, we are unique. We are the most diverse sport in the world.
Yep.
Like I always laugh about people. We do need young professionals here in Omaha. We are losing them to these big cities. We need them here. And I always laugh and telling these corporate CEOs, like, I get probably 100 emails a week on 24-year-olds that want to come work for me for $500 a month. And it's like, what? It's like, yeah, they want to move here. And it's like, well, they can't get guys for, $50,000 a year to stay here. And it's like, we need it. And I think soccer there's probably 8 or 10 things that need to happen in Omaha over the next 5 years to make it a cool, unique, vibrant, major city, diverse city. That's like, you know what? I'm not going to move to Minneapolis. I'm not going to move to Kansas City. I'm not going to move to Chicago. I'm not going to move to Denver. There's probably 8 or 10 things that need to happen. And I think having a professional soccer team with their own stadium, not shared, with their own stadium, I think is would be amazing. And and I've probably read just as much as you have about that stuff. You know? So
Well said.
All right.
Are you
Quick
familiar
pause.
are you familiar with the term nature break? Whatever you say.
Yeah.
I didn't need. We're back. All right. We have a few more minutes of Jay Mims this time, so let's go. Kamal Malcolm.
yep.
Tell us about Kamal Malcolm. You've been after him for a while. We just confirmed.
Yeah. Kamal, we talked 2 years ago when I first got the team, and he was one of the strikers I was looking at, and just didn't work out. But I liked him. I saw him. I saw his his video. I knew a friend of a friend that used to play for in high school back in Jamaica about 10, 11 years ago, and it didn't work out. But I followed him obviously over his career, and obviously with losing Greg and Evan, we knew that we needed to bring in some guys that have scored goals in the past and have experience at that.
It worked out okay last year.
And and so we got Kamal signed up, and I think it's he needs. I mean, people don't realize he just got here, probably 2.5, 3 weeks ago, so he's still learning. Like he's getting stuff like a water hose down his mouth right now. I mean, it's a lot for him. And so he's but you get to see shades of shades of it. Obviously,
he seems like he's maybe quick.
Just
as a player.
Yeah, just a little bit. He's quick, and he's just again, all the things we talked about earlier about we've had a club now for almost an identity now for almost 2.5 years, 3 years, and it's like he's just adapting to how we play, how we train, how we attack, how we defend, and he's just again we're 4 games in, and so he'll be a good one for sure.
Yeah,
Only player older than me. I still have a chance.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's good. All right. What's the next match we play?
I believe it's the U.S. Open Cup.
U.S. Open Cup, you got it.
Who are we playing against?
Northern Colorado, Wednesday night at UNO.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about that school.
Yeah.
I hear you may have had something to do.
Another
with,
house that Jay built.
Well, is it another pitch that Jay?
Yeah.
You know what? What an amazing place. It's such people that haven't been to a game at Caniglia Field. It's amazing. It's just the backdrop, the setting, just in a great area. It's just there's just something about that. It's old. It's it's got character, and it's it's just totally different than Morrison, but just like totally different in a good way. And it's like just a beautiful setting, beautiful place. And so if you haven't been out there, what a chance to get out there for your first time. Wednesday night, that'd be cool.
I've been there for a couple matches, and somebody not from the city, it's beautiful.
Yeah, incredible.
I absolutely love it.
Like inviting all of my neighbors to the game because I'm like it's just over there. It's like a beautiful place.
Ride your bike there.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Sit on the parking garage, drink some beer.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it's finals week, and we don't want to
celebrate your finals.
However, we will be drinking at Farnam House, who's been the sponsor of this pod. And then, beautiful. And taking the orbit down there so you can take public transportation to a game, which is something you cannot do at Werner Park.
Very, very true.
So,
did you watch the draw?
We were on a bus, I think.
Okay.
No,
that was Madison.
Oh, that was the first one. You're right. We were on a bus. So that last one, we were. No, because I would have remembered. No.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think someone texted me. We're playing Northern Colorado.
Yeah, I wish you had, because I would have asked you your opinions of the drawers.
Yeah. Do you think they froze the envelopes?
No, because if people that thought it was rigged, it's like, well,
every USL team,
it should have been us playing Minnesota and Colorado. Obviously, Rapids playing Northern Colorado. It's like if they're talking about money and saving money, like why wouldn't we just pair up with Minnesota? They pair up with Colorado, and there's the games.
I think the reason that I was tinfoil hatting on this is because every USL team that could have drew another USL team. Full stop.
Really?
Yes.
What do you know?
Yes, 3 out of the 3 groups that had only 2 MLS teams. The MLS teams drew against each other, and the USL teams drew against each other.
Well, I was thinking more financial and budget and
right, but that at least ensures there'll be multiple lower league teams.
However,
in round of 16.
So now thinking that way, great. Just good to go. Sorry. That was a pretzel, by the way,
Delicious
Just
pretzel.
some of the fine fare
at the
here.
Farnam House. Thank you so much.
With that being said, do you think there's a detriment of us playing Colorado or Minnesota versus being paired up with Kansas City, who we drove down there for 2 preseason games? Like, it's super close.
No, I think it's cool playing a team in your league. I think that starts like a rivalry, and it's the first time we've ever played them. And it's like always going to be looked upon as like, because let's be honest, like the winner of this match, they win one more match. Like now you're in it. And it's like you're making a run, and it's like
They're
I
the
think
evil
that's-
universe version of us.
In so many ways. We do not have enough time to get into this.
They're building a baseball stadium to host soccer.
Oh, no.
Their baseball team name
is the Owls.
Yep. Their supporters group name is
For the soccer team is the Storm Chasers. It's a dark universe.
Sounds like a Twilight Zone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not good. I think that's good. Someone needs to educate, like call them and say, stop.
We tried.
I think it's gonna be I think you're right on the rivalry thing.
Yeah.
I think it really has the opportunity.
Yeah.
And
Nebraska, Colorado is just one of those
it's a
natural.
classic one. Yeah. And I mean, like there could be money on the line. We could know going into the game if there's money on the line or not, right?
Depends on how much they're bringing.
No. Yeah, well, the club that goes the furthest gets
Yeah.
25K, and so yeah,
It's a big game.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, do you bet that? No,
No, I'm extremely.
bet it on black.
I'm extremely happy to be playing them. I'm extremely happy to be playing them in Omaha.
Yeah.
That's it. Always makes me happy when Union Omaha plays in Omaha.
Does it worry you that I mean, right? They beat RSL at Rice.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah. Do you get a scouting report from your friends still there? On this
Salt
one?
Lake?
Yeah.
I could, I'll talk to them.
Okay.
Yeah, but they work hard.
I didn't segue earlier, like back in the first minute of the
Chente said
pod
they
when you
played
talked
well.
about 25 minutes of stoppage time, because there were 9 in their game against RSL for no reason at all.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
absolutely not.
besides that, you're at an MLS team, and
Yeah. Local refs. And yeah.
no reason at all why you give up 2 penalties in a game in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Sister-wise.
yeah. But no, they're good.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you their
they
rapid
work hard.
song.
They're good. It'll be fun. God, I'm so excited. I'm having back to and for a real game, obviously at UNO in 5 years, and it's just such a cool environment, and like just they're laying out everything for us, and they're just like bells and whistles. They want to they
Food trucks.
they understand like they want to like bring people that have maybe never been to their campus and like don't know much about their soccer teams, and just like it's their way to promote it, and that's how it should be. And for them, and I think we're so thankful of the being able to find a spot for us getting a game, and it's it's great. I'm excited for getting back there.
No,
Awesome.
I got a couple coworkers out to the Morrison game that never been to a Union Omaha game. Absolutely loved it.
Loved it,
They're looking to come out to this game
Yeah.
because it's in Omaha, which is
Well, yeah.
Huge.
It's
like
5 minutes
that
from
part,
everyone I know.
that part cannot be understated. Playing in Omaha
Yeah.
is huge. But I think we're at the end
I
of
just got
the.
that.
I think we are at the end of our time with Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe even
Um,
into this spot.
However, one plug and one question away.
All right.
Yeah. What's the
Come to
plug?
Farnam House
Yeah, absolutely.
because they've been a fantastic sponsor. As you can
You see
see,
they brought Jay the pretzel in the
Get
basement?
Get the
Pretzel in the
pretzels. Yeah.
basement,
Get the
kegs in the
pretzels.
background.
Yeah.
If you can hear the bubbling beer around us, like all that beautiful, tasty deliciousness, it's good. Come hang out here. But Jay,
Yeah.
Do you remember this one from last time?
Oh gosh.
I mean, it's 3 seasons of this. You got to know this question.
Yeah.
And Tony,
If it said-
one
if
of
it
the
says something to do with
proprietors.
Who gives a who? I have no idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
Oh,
All right.
I really don't. Like, I don't get this one. but-
All right. Yeah, this is what I'd say. It's we did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Right on my hand.
Who gives a hoot?
We do.
Perfect.
Oh, come on, Jay. We gotta redo this one. We don't often redo things.